Alex Jones sat down before the bipartisan House committee investigating January 6th, and to be a fly on the wall. He pleaded the fifth nearly 100 times instead of answering questions.
He's
not the first to plead the fifth, and he is absolutely within his constitutional rights to do just that. But then when he went on his internet show and blabbed about the whole thing to his followers.
You can't walk in to something like that with people like that. I don't know who these lawyers are running it. I don't know if they're good people or bad people.
They're bad people.
They came always polite and nice. But when you've got predators like Schiff back in the background, like a moray eel in the rocks ready to come out and eat you.
Look at that fucking desk. Alex Jones is rolling heavy.
Then there's no reason to even dignify it because it's not legitimate. That said, the questions were overall pretty reasonable, and I wanted to answer the questions. But at the same time, it's a good thing I didn't because I'm the type that tries to answer things correctly, even if I don't know all the answers, and they can then try to claim that that's perjury.
I mean, put that on the January 6th committee movie poster.
Oh, look, he's giving a measure of his penis. That's nice. I didn't even ask for that. But that's the same thing he put on his Grindr profile. That's weird. Put it on a January 6th. Yes, put it on the January 6th movie poster that these people are predators in the water that can't be trusted, that Americans would want to answer questions of their own government, but they so cannot trust their own government that they have to invoke the safeguard put in by the fucking founders as a protection against a tyrannical government. So Alex Jones says, I want to answer the questions. They were pretty straightforward, but basically these people can't be trusted with my honesty. If I give it to them, they'll try and come after me with a perjury charge or something else. So the founders actually baked in a hedge against tyranny. It says you don't ever have to answer a government question. You don't have to do it. And so he's saying, you know, I want to do it. So yes, put it on the movie poster, Chris fucking Hayes, you retard. You don't even realize what you're saying. You're telling us to put on the movie poster that the government conducting the January 6 hearings is so distrustworthy that otherwise honest seeking Americans are wanting to invoke their Fifth Amendment right, put in as a hedge against tyranny because they kind of look like tyranny to them. It kind of looks like a setup. It kind of looks like the government fishing for criminality where they don't otherwise see criminality. Yeah, put it on the movie poster. Great logline. Tyrannical government holds hearings to trap citizens who want to tell the truth. Instead, they invoke the Fifth Amendment because they don't trust their own fucking government anymore. Yeah, put that right there. Great logline. Sell it. I'll go watch that movie all the time. You'll be sitting there jerking off your micro penis to your Grindr profile. Fuck you. God, I hate these people. I hate all these people. They're so awful and stupid. They're so dumb they don't even realize what they're saying.
Pretty reasonable, Alex Jones. So Jones admits the investigators were polite and that their questions were reasonable, but that he nonetheless refused to answer.
Oh my God. Do you not know how it works? Do you not know? You not understand? Hayes, you're in the most danger in the world when you go into the office and the cops are nice. That's I mean, when you go in and the cops are literally beating you and screaming in your face, it's, I know you fucking did, you piece of shit. That you know the score then. But when they're nice, you don't know what the hell's happening.
Because he did not want to get charged with perjury. Now, Jones also shared much of what the committee asked him. We'll get to that shortly, and it's interesting. But he also went out of his way to add this little tidbit about his friend Stewart Rhodes.
I saw it all as LARPing. I mean, I didn't see the Oath Keepers as bad people. But
Really? The fucking Teletubbies walking around in tactical vests and helmets. You saw that as LARPing, huh, Alex? Appreciate man he is. Appreciate man. By the way, and I'm not saying that in any derogatory way. I think Alex Jones is one of the funniest people on the planet. He's spot on. I saw it as LARPing. Everybody saw it as LARPing. The only people who don't see it as LARPing is the government. And Chris Hayes.
But I saw a lot of it as playing soldier in the backyard. Their mission was something I really agreed with for most of its operations. But if the indictment's true that they thought that they could foment and kickstart and detonate a rebellion at the Capitol that would then lead to a larger war, that is not something I knew about or something I support or something I want.
Oh my goodness. Mwah. Your Honor, I don't know. They were dressing up. We were palling around. I got an internet show. I got nootropics to sell.
Yes. Yes. Someone like Alex Jones does not want an armed overthrow of the United States. Chris Hayes, what are you talking about? What do you think he's going to be anointed king of the wasteland that follows? What do you think happens? What do you think happens to an Alex Jones in a war with the state? Do you think Alex Jones, even if he's completely detached and removed, do you think that there's not an accidental Predator drone strike on Alex Jones's house and studio? Just happens, Scully taking off with his airplane and having to ditch into the Hudson, and he ditches into the Hudson several thousand miles away in Austin, Texas, in Alex Jones's pool. Like, do you think that's not what happens? Of course that's what happens. He doesn't want that. He wants to sell his supplements. He wants to do his show. He wants to talk to people about history and ideas. If you don't understand like what Alex Jones is, like, just listen, go watch the Viva Barnes interview with Alex Jones. Like, you want to get a glimpse without all the pomp and bravado of just who this guy is in a pretty vulnerable interview. Like, go watch it. And you can learn a lot about this guy. And I mean, wait for yourself what you think, of course. But this idea that Alex Jones would be the guy who wants the overthrow of the United States is crazy to me. People who have, Alex Jones makes a very good living doing what he does. In an overthrow of the government, Alex Jones's living goes straight to hell, and all of his stuff and money becomes worthless. I don't know that that's high up on the fucking agenda here, but here's I don't know. I don't understand these people.
I don't know what's going on. Now, a certain amount of this is likely just Jones covering his own legal exposure, but I think it's worth asking why Jones platformed the head of Oath Keepers, Stuart Rhodes, and allowed him to articulate his plan to use armed members to potentially disrupt the peaceful transfer of power if he didn't think they were actually serious about doing just that.
Chris, you platform people because two things. One, you find what people have to say in general, not specific people, interesting. And two, because you think the audience might find what people have to say interesting. That's it. It's the reason you platform them. Does Alex Jones know that these guys are going to get on there and talk about the sedition? I don't know. I have no idea what kind of show prep Alex Jones does with guests. I know when I'm interviewing guests, I don't pre-screen their answers and ideas and topics. That's not how I do things. It may be how Alex Jones does things or how you do things. I have no idea. No idea. I know I do them wrong. Okay. I got that. I understand that I do everything wrong according to how the media does stuff. And maybe that's why I is just some loudmouth getting to be a fatso in Minnesota can attract a crowd of people to watch, like some pitchman on the fucking Atlantic City boardwalk or something. I'm like, come here, come on, I got to show you something, right? Like maybe that's why I'm able to do it, is because I don't do things right. I don't, I know that these guys probably know exactly what their guests are going to talk about. I don't know about Alex. I have no idea, but you find people in their stories interesting. The other thing, Chris Hayes, this is kind of important. They said they were there to stop the illegal, not peaceful transfer, that they were there to step in if an illegal transfer occurred. Because remember, these people were already anticipating violence from the government, from factions within the government. They expected a military coup. Now you can call them crazy and stupid, and you can berate them and do all sorts of things to discount and discredit their ideas, their persons, their people. I don't care. What, that's fine. And you could, but them being wrong doesn't mean that they didn't believe it. And you don't get to then pin some other thing on them. Wait, I thought, didn't he say that Alex Jones is going to talk about the questions that they asked him specifically? They just forget that segment. You just went ahead and forgot to do that segment of the show that you promised to do. Eight minutes of that shit and nothing from Alex Jones about the questions.